in the world.
What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. You can call me whatever you want. Welcome to... That was weird. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. I'm here. Here I am. We're going to fly one last set of 6 batteries here at Studio One, my apartment in Alpharetta. In its final form, I guess you could say, right? Like, this is as fancy as this apartment is ever going to get. I'm moving in to the house with Maggie and the kids in a couple of weeks. And yeah, tomorrow I'm going to start tearing stuff down, start taking stuff off the walls, packing shit up. And so yeah, we're going to send this apartment off in style with a few tinywhoop batteries here. I'm going to keep flying here on Whoop Wednesdays, but it's not going to look all fancy, you know? There's not going to be as much artwork on the walls. It's going to be much more hot messified. So yeah. But we'll, that'll be fun too. It's fun to fly. I really wanted to fly Maggie's house when it was her old house, her rental house, when it was totally empty. But it just didn't, the timing just didn't work out, and that's fine. I got to fly the new house when it was completely empty, and that was awesome. I also got to Cinewhoop the new house, when it was completely empty. You can check that out over on Instagram. I did a really nice single battery fly through of the house and the backyard, and yeah, fun. You get to see the treehouse, yo. In the chat, Jonathan Riot9 was first. Chopper FPV, Aircon, Jonathan McLeod, Dead Chicken, Paul McDonald, Mustang Pilot, Joe GFPV, Riot9 again, Jesse Garcia, Northern Tier, Kevin Sumner, Dan Richmond, Danzilla the Terrible, Harbles FPV. Harbles, when you want to come do some electrical, brother, pick a weekend. I will, once I get moved in, towards the end of this month, there's a basement with a comfy couch, air mattress if you want it, and a bathroom that you're more than welcome to crash in for the weekend. We'll fly a bunch of spots and strip some wires. Let me know. Let me know what's a good weekend for you. Ram Donko, 16-bit FPV, Kiz Bartlett, Paul McDonald, PJ Denard, Restyle, Cameron Dasso. I think that's everybody. What's up, friends? Thanks for coming to Whoop Wednesday. Hey, we're also going to plug in the rig that went swimming on my gig Monday, 4th of July, to see if all is right with the world. It immediately sat in front of a fan, and then an industrial fan on set, and then it sat in the footwell of my car with the air conditioner blasting, half an hour ride home, and then it sat overnight in front of a fan here. So I bet you it's totally fine, but it's always good to, I always like to, you know, I always like to see how much these things can put up with before they explode. And if we have time, we're gonna piece together a Newbie Drone Flow 1102 10,000 kV 2S ELRS Tinylifter for picking up an Insta360 Go 2 26-gram camera on a 75mm cockroach frame. Which, in my opinion, if this works, this will be sort of the greatest gorilla whoop ever, because the Insta360 Go 2 video quality is just wild. And yeah, on that 75mm wheelbase, it's a toy. Like, there's just nobody that's gonna look at these little tiny lifters and be like, oh god, I'm gonna call the police. They're gonna look at it and be like, oh, you little buddy, hi, oh, you're so cute, ooh, little chubby cheekies, ooh. This is, man, it just gets weirder by the day up in here. If you want to talk directly to me, all you gotta do is type CiottiFPV like Jonathan McLeod did. You can put an @ in front of it, but you don't have to. As long as you spell it correctly, it's gonna light up on orange, and I'll know that you're talking to me. This is also my full-time job. If you want to support me on the crazy adventure that is attempting to do FPV full-time, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Ton of different ways you can support me. Patreon helps me out the most. Speaking of Patreon, all new patrons get a shout out here on the channel. Come on, email. What are you doing to me? Email, come on. Robin Winter, welcome to the collective. Thank you for hopping onto Patreon, much appreciated. Make yourself at home. Over on the Patreon page, there's all kinds of good stuff going on, all kinds of tech articles. You got to dig a little bit for them. Just use the tags up on top. That's going to make your life a lot easier. And then you're going to get access to the Discord channel, access to the Stick End Fund, where you can get in on a package that comes to your door with one of every single stick end that exists for either M3 or M4, and then you get to try them all out and send it to the next person. You get access to the 2 Facebook groups, My Undying Love, that's worth something, isn't it? All kinds of good stuff going on for as little as $3 a month. But if you get up to the $5 a month or more tier, you can get on the bi-weekly giveaways. This coming Monday is a giveaway live stream, so if you hop onto one of those $5 or more tiers, you'll be entered into at least one giveaway this coming Monday. So there's that, which is cool. Jonathan McLeod tagged me and said, what's up, Buttercup? Denzel the Terrible says, what's up? Et al. CiottiFPV and et al. PJ Denard says, what's up? Happy whooping in Studio One. Michael Blade says, hey bud. Quadzimoto says, wait, what happened? Sorry, I'm late. What do you mean, Quadzimoto? Ramdonko says, is the new 1-inch 360 liftable? What? Ask that a different way, Ram. I don't know what that means. Jonathan McLeod says, shoot me a text so I can pick up Mike's radio so we can get him back up and running. Oh, man, I don't know where that radio is at the moment. I don't know if it's here or if it's in Lawrenceville. I think it's in Lawrenceville. Yeah, I will be back in Lawrenceville tomorrow night until Sunday or so. So yeah, we can link up whenever. All right, cool. Caught up on chat. There was one more thing I wanted to shill about the Patreon page. It's worth it, I swear to God. Over on my website, there's also a Teespring store. You can get some cool shirts, mugs, tote bags, whatever. And a whole bunch of affiliate links. Next time you're buying something FPV related, somebody's probably got an affiliate link. Support them by using their affiliate link before you check out. And we'll keep making content that you love. This is something that showed up today, which is absolutely insane. A gift for you from Amazon. It's a fucking Hero8. On Monday's stream, I gave you guys like a little after action report of the gig that I was on. And I told you guys that I put this thing in the pool, and the pool where we were shooting, and my Hero8 did not do all that well. Apparently, when you smash the shit out of the back screen, like that, it's potentially no longer waterproof. So when this thing went underwater with the quad, everybody was like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Ah, it's all good. GoPros are waterproof. We're fine." We got the rig out pretty quickly, and the Hero8 was just freaking the fuck out. And I noticed that, yeah, in by all the cracks, water was starting to get in there. Might have also been getting in the bottom here, but I doubt it. But yeah, it did not like being underwater. It started freaking out. I lost the last like 2 or so minutes of the... So I pulled the memory card, pulled the battery. After it dried out, I was able to put the memory card back into it, power it back on, and it repaired the file. That was awesome. But I lost like the last 2 minutes. Like it did not... I didn't lose like from the second that it went into the water. I lost like a minute or minute and a half before that. So yeah, the buffer the buffer must have gotten angry or whatever, and that kind of sucks. I was really hoping to have the video. I was backing up when it happened, and I was really hoping to have the video of it just backing up and then kaploink and then just like falling down the pool under the water. That would have been really, really, really cool. But alas, that video is in the ether. So keep that in mind if you're flying, Heroes or just any camera with a screen on the back for freestyle, and when you fly these things with the screen in the back for freestyle, pretty quickly you demolish the screen, but the rest of the camera is usually okay. Keep in mind that that they are no longer waterproof once that screen is smashed, which is kind of a big deal. So pay attention to that for sure. Whoever the hell sent me this Hero8, my God, thank you so much. Super, 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 super generous. What this has done is, so this is a Hero8 without Geek Squad protection. And basically what that means is that this is going to become a naked Hero8 at some point. With Geek Squad, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of nuts to pay for the Geek Squad protection from Best Buy and then rip it apart. and turn it into a naked GoPro, because it's not like you can bring that to Best Buy and be like, hey, I took it all apart and then it broke. We cool, right? They're gonna be like, no, bro. We not fucking cool, you idiot. But yeah, so yeah, with this not having the Geek Squad protection, that's pretty awesome, because at some point, yeah, I'm gonna decase this and put it into the Get Bar C mount. But for right now, it's also amazing because so I'm gonna bring that busted up Hero8 back to Best Buy, and they're gonna pull this bullshit. Oh, we're gonna send it back to see if they can repair it. Which starts like a week and a half to 2 week complete waste of time, because they can't fix these things. Like this, everything is glued together. They're never gonna fix them. They're just doing it to make it less convenient for us, I'm convinced. Oh well, that's pretty cool. There's a little white silicone case. I've never seen that before. With a little, well, you look at that. That's pretty neat. So yeah, this, so while I'm waiting for them to turn that around and then send me an email that says, we established that your GoPro is not fixable, please return to the store for your credit. I'll have this, which is just absolutely amazing. And then potential. So at that point, what I was talking about Monday is like, I don't know what to do. Do I get another replacement 8, or do I get a 10? I have a bunch of mounts for the 10s, but I think that the 11 is coming in a couple of months. So it seems kind of crazy to spend whatever it is, $500 on a 10 when it's just going to drop $100 in a month or two. June, July, August, September. Oh no, I guess it's a little bit longer than that. That feels a little bit better. But yeah, I'm not totally sure what to do. But what I was saying is that I absolutely need to have 2 GoPros. Like this was a situation, and I've been waiting for this situation to happen. I do have a Hero 6 that just sits here, but it doesn't work with any of the Hero 8 mounts. So I typically don't really bring it with me on gigs. I was at one point, and then I was bringing a bunch of Hero 7, 6, 5 mounts. But I stopped bringing that at some point, and luckily at this gig, I had got... So the only real reason that I was being so nuts, to be completely honest with you guys, was that I knew that I got all the footage that I needed. Normally, I wouldn't have been flying as low while backing up blindly above water. But I knew that I had flown 5 batteries thus far, 2 batteries in location 1, 3 batteries in location 2, and then this was my 2nd battery on location 3, and I knew that I had everything that I needed, so I just really started going for it. But this was the first situation where it was like, well, shit, I could have maybe flown 1 more battery to get a little bit more coverage. But I couldn't, because the Hero 8 was just losing its mind, and it refused to record even after I set it in front of the fan for a while. I could have probably, like, they were doing a bunch of handheld stuff, I could have probably just hung around and let the fan keep blowing on it for another 15-20 minutes, and then maybe it would have been okay, and I would have been fine. But yeah, it's absolutely nuts to be showing up to big gigs like this with only 1 GoPro, and it's kind of crazy that I've been doing that thus far. So I was saying that there's another little piece of glass from that back screen. So yeah, Monday we were talking about how, yeah, when I brought that broken 8 in, I was probably going to snag either another 8 or a 10, but I couldn't figure it out. And then I logged onto Wells Fargo. I was like, or I won't be buying anything. Yeah, this is wild, man. Whoever sent this, thank you so much. That is just absurdly generous, and really, really, really does help me in a little bit of a I don't know. I'm not in a pinch per se, but you know, in a little bit of a pickle. We're in a bit. We don't use pickle in that way anymore. Even just saying it just sounds dirty. We don't use pickle in that sense anymore. You know, we've become too perverted with the word pickle. We need to use it to describe sticky situation. Jesus, 8-year-olds, dude. We gotta use pickle in that sense more often. Let's all make a concerted effort to say things like, "Oh, I was in a bit of a pickle," more often, or maybe I'm just old. Another GoPro cable. Who doesn't need one of them? Does anybody need an extra of these GoPro cables? I have a few. I have more than I can handle. So yeah, that's what's going on. Whoever sent me this, again, thank you so much. Very, 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 very fucking cool of you. Dan, wait, no, we got that. Where are we at in chat? Jonathan McLeod with a $5 super chat. He says, "Cause you're kind of cool sometimes. Crash Panda approved." I'm just, I didn't even realize. When did you change your name, Crash? 5 minutes ago when I read that. When I read you say that about the radio, at first I was like, what? What radio? And then I realized it was you. Did you just change your name, or am I just, like, old? Kevin Sumner says, "I think Ram Donko is asking about the Insta360 1RS 1-inch 360 edition camera." Ah, okay. So, the whole 360 camera thing, it's super, and I think it's always going to be just gimmicky. Looks like Kevin Sumner says it's a 239 gram camera. That's ridiculous. That's like, oh my god, and it's $800. Well, maybe for $800, it's less gimmicky, but I just don't see a world where, I mean, first of all, at that weight, now we're talking 6-inch rigs, and that's just silly. But more so than that, I just don't see a world where the seam between the top and the bottom lenses is ever gonna go completely away, and until that day, it's just not gonna work. Like, because the exact shot that you need is gonna, of course, be right on that seam, and then you're not gonna be able to, and then you're gonna be screwed, right? So yeah, I don't think the 360 camera thing is ever gonna find its way into any kind of like professional setting. But for screwing around, it's real fun. I mean, you can do some really, really, really cool stuff with the 360 cameras if you're creative enough. You know, think stuff like diving something and then rotating the camera as if you're diving it backwards and then rotating it back down. There's just all kinds of cool stuff that you can do within like freestyle edits, but Jesus, $800, that's a hell of an expensive camera to carry around for freestyle. So yeah, I don't know who that's aimed at. An $800 360 camera, like, who's that for? Just people that have more money than well, okay, no, it's for other action sports. 360 cameras are really fun with all the action sports stuff, because, and they're shaking shit around so hard anyway that it doesn't matter if the you know, the inherent problems that they have are less important. So yeah, I think like drifting would be great for. I've seen some pretty fun drift shit with 360 cams. So yeah, I guess that's more what it's targeted at. But I don't. What's happening with this fucking shirt? I don't see it for. This shirt fits weird. I love this shirt, but it fits a little strange. I don't see it for FPV. I don't think it's it's for us. So, thanks again, Crash, for the super chat. What do we got here? Crash says, insist that they junk it out. Explain that corporate will be happy to tell them the same. It's worked for me half a dozen times, and they will argue, but you'll leave with a new camera. Interesting. So insist that they junk it out. The last time that I went to the Alpharetta Best Buy, I had a really logical conversation with the manager. The initial person was like, "Oh, I don't know, get the manager," and I had a pretty adult conversation with the manager, and I was like, "Look, man, I know how these things are built. There's absolutely no way that they're gonna fix this. And the protection plan that you sold me was that I'm leaving today with a functioning camera, and I was pretty fucking firm with him, and he just didn't care. He's like, nope, this is the way it goes. There's nothing I can do about it. The computer won't even let me do it. And after 15 or so minutes, I was like, okay. Actually, what it ended up being is I said, look, you need to sell me a Hero8 right now, and you need to write a note on the receipt so that I can return this and get a full fucking refund, which he did. But before that, I pushed pretty hard and didn't really care. So, but I didn't specifically tell them to junk it out. So I guess I'll try that with this one, because yeah, I mean, that whole 2-week thing is just absolute bullshit. That's not, it's not bullshit. I mean, it's totally fair, all things considered. The fact that the fact that we can do this at all is pretty wild. Although I don't know, I don't really feel all that bad about it, because I don't fly these things freestyle. I'm blowing up 1 or 2 of these a year, if that. So I don't feel all that bad about using the Geek Squad protection, even though it does. I'm pretty sure it specifically states in the terms, does not apply to FPV. I think or drones. They specifically call out if it's drone related damage, it's not covered. And I mean, fair game, all things considered. I think that's I mean, how are they gonna prove it? But at the same time, yeah, interesting. But again, whoever sent this, man, thank you so much. Very, 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 very cool. I'm going to take the mount off the bottom like I always do to save 8 grams. And wait here. This is, I gotta be a good YouTuber. Ready? I gotta be a good YouTuber. Wait. Isn't it so great, guys? Don't you love it when you love the things? Alright, I need to go to the bathroom to clean up now. I hate YouTubers. There it is. Man, I'm a dick sometimes. I am the worst. But it's okay. Alright. Hot Point Hoodlum says, great starting point for me. What does that mean? It didn't make any peel-off noises. That's why I was groaning. I Could Fire FPV says, return the temporary GoPro and then go back the next day and buy it for the open box price. No, this came from Amazon. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to do that. Crash Panda says Tucker store. I don't even know where Tucker is. Remdango says GoPro Comp 360. I'm not sure what that means. Remdanko also says, "I'll fly my way out. Good luck with your new journey." Thank you, brother. All right, cool. I'm caught up. Wait, no. Kevin Sumner says, "Doing those YouTuber peels. Can we stop saying peels along with slaps?" Is that what they call it? Peels? I don't watch any YouTubers that do any kind of technology reviews that peel stuff off. I mean, you end up seeing it whether you like it or not, right? Yeah, I don't watch any of those YouTubers to know that they have the name for it. That's kind of insane. Look at this white cover. Look at this. Get on there. All right, there it is. Look at that. It's got a millimeter more protection now. Ooh, man, this would look good if I were to use the little ears on the bottom. This would look good sitting up on the Razorback. Look at this. Woo! Oh yeah! Oh boy! That's a fancy looking fandangle wangle. Kerplangle, isn't it? Look at that. That would look hot on there. But I'm not gonna do that. Those little ears freak me out, man. Like, I wouldn't be worried about losing the GoPro per se. I would be worried about the oh god. I would be worried about the I'd be worried about the angle changing. Every time you bump into anything, it would change the up tilt, which would be super frustrating. Ooh, that's a good idea. Instagram picture. All right, let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Here we go. Here we go. Is this good? Oh god, no! I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. This button, that button. There we go. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. Oh, shitters. Was that a picture or I'm just going to hit the button. All right, there we go. It's on the Instagram. That is good looking. Look at that. Got a little thing on the side here. A little flappy doodle on the side. Very cool. Does anybody want this white thing? I'm never going to use it ever, 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 ever. If anybody wants this white thing, let me know. I would love to see it get used because that is a nice little condom. Ramdango says, "Don't peel my peel. Some of my peels got years on." Dan636 made it. Harbles FPV with a $4.20 weed number super chat. He says, skeet. I got the right number of skeets in there. Thank you very much, Ken. Paul McDonald says, "That needs an Instagram pic. Looks good." Crash Panda says, "Gotta go work on skateboards. Texted you. Let me know about picking up Mike's radio." Thank you, brother. All right. Let's build a Tinylifter, friends. And then, well, no. Let's see if the Cinesplore survived a full-blown submersion in the pool. So we're gonna check both the video system and we're gonna check everything. So where the hell is my Immortal T? There it is. Or not Immortal T, my diamond. Hey! Oh god! Ooh! Oof! Ooh! Who farted? Hoof arted. Was it you? Hoof! Hoof arted. Here we go. First things first. Let's plug it in and see if it. Well, I'll use a smoke stopper. Although I plugged it in on set after it was sitting in the fan for a while and it powered up just fine. So this should be completely fine. Yep. Cool. All 5 beeps. Now let's give it full voltage. That was a ViFly Shortsaver2. It's the only smoke saver that actually works. Get you one, and it's an essential piece of gear for sure. Full power. All is right with the world. Let's power up the transmitter. Let's power up the fat shits, the fat snails. Video looks good. Well, I mean, you know, as good as it can look for analog. It's a little bit milky though. That's just the it's just the jib jabs. Throttle warning, battery warning, all the goddamn warnings. Oh, that's a good sign. All's right with the world, friends. Analog is king, I agree. Yeah, yet another rig that's been underwater that just doesn't care. Yep, there you go. Conformal coating is great, don't get me wrong. With, you know, if this thing was properly conformal coated, I could have flown it out of the water, potentially. Probably not, but you know what I mean. But man, even without conformal coating, just dry it out and away you go. In theory, if it were conformaled, I could have just, they could have pulled it out of the pool, put it on the sidewalk, and I could have just kept going. That's a little ballsy. I don't know if I would ever, I don't know. Those of you that conformal, have you ever done that? Have you ever just been like totally fucking 100% confidence in it? Full McGillicuddy? What am I putting my goggles away for? We're flying in a little bit. I don't know, I feel like I would still rather, you know, hook it up a little bit. Man, I'm having a hard time with words today. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would ever have the balls to just like, oh, it crashed into the water, it's fine, go! But technically speaking, I could have. This rig, I am going to be leaving this rig out. So I have another, my next installment of the American Crit Bicycle Racing Series is on the 16th in Salt Lake City. And this rig is going to get a rear-facing DJI camera. And we're going to see how that goes. So I'm going to leave it set up on analog. This will forever be the analog Cinesplore. And yeah, I'm going to put a Vista. So I'm going to put a Rush Tank VTX on top of the 20x20 ESC and flight controller stack. And then I'm going to put a Vista in the rear, and then I'm going to hang a camera off the rear standoffs and give it, I guess, down tilt. Yeah, I guess it'll be it'll have down tilt. What is happening with my brain? My brain is not cooperating. So yeah, so that I can fly out in front of the bikers and get rear-facing DJI into the goggles and into the TV truck. So that'll be pretty weird. I guess I will set it up on plugs so that I can easily remove it, right? Because the crit series are just, you know, every once in a while they can't they don't have the budget to bring me on for their entire season. But yeah, that'll be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to that. I don't quite know how it's gonna work out. Like, I guess I'm gonna have to have the guys on comms in the truck guide me faster, slower, higher, lower kind of thing when they take my camera and I'm flying this rig in front of the cyclists. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see how that works out. And I'm also gonna have to rely on them to tell me if I need more or less up tilt. And that's also gonna change. Like as the riders get faster, I'm gonna have to change the rear. Well, no, I guess it's down tilt. I'm gonna have to change the rear down tilt because I'm gonna be in the analog goggles, right? Like I'm not gonna be able to check this shit. It's just gonna have to be like, yeah, I'm gonna have to literally rely on them completely. So I assume what'll happen is like the first battery that I put up with this rig will be earlier on in the day with the less professional racers, and I'll just explain to the truck like, hey, I need you to help me get this camera set, and just take it up for an entire battery and pace some of these guys, and then just go in and talk to the truck and be like, hey, what do you got? Well, no, actually, they can they record everything coming off of my feed, so they'll be able to just play it back for me. So yeah, I'll be able to actually set it. Yeah, cool. That'll be dope. So yeah, that'll be super interesting. I was really hoping to have this QAVS up and running for this rig, and I still might, maybe have this ready to go, but I don't know. It needs a new flight controller, and I think it needs a new flight controller. I'm not totally convinced that the flight controller is the problem though. So yeah, I don't know. There's an awful lot going on. I'm about to be at the new house for the next like 5 or 6 days, and that's going to eat up most of my time. So I think this is the one thing that I want to get done before that event, and then I think I'm going to spend the rest of my time just like prepping in general for that event and all the other stuff that's going on. There's also there's a movie being filmed that contacted me today about some work on the 18th or 19th. So I'm getting really slammed. So I gotta be careful with how much stuff I rip apart and yeah. So is what it is. Bob Noxious dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Mutterdirtskin says, I would take the white thing. I have a quad that's themed all white. It's the CiottiFPV React Discord channel from a few weeks back. Very cool metal. Shoot me a message, and it's all yours, my man. Mothy didn't tag me, but I just happened to see his comment. He says, what's better, 22,000 kV or 19,000 kV? 22,000 kV is definitely better because 22,000 kV can be throttle scaled down in Betaflight to 19,000 kV. If you don't want the extra power that 22,000 kV is going to give you, 19,000 kV cannot be motor scaled up to 22,000. So 99% of the time, higher kV is better because you can just limit it. Lower kV, you're stuck. It's the max. That being said, there is the fringe case where the kV can be too much. You don't want to have the throttle limit down beyond like 60%. So, but that's it. It's very rare that there's a motor that's a high enough kV that you would need to do that. But it's not. It's not totally impossible. Mutterdirtskin with a $10 super chat. He says, been a rough month, but I think I finally found a place to live. Crazy micro rippage from the deep Oregon woods coming soon. Maybe. Very cool, Metal. Very, very cool. Thank you for the generous super chat. And that's exciting, brother. Hell yeah. Getting a spot that that's flyable is pretty rad. Mothy, type, if you want me to read your comment, I keep happening to see them, but if you want me to read your comments, type CiottiFPV. When you do that, like these other folks, it'll light up an orange, and these are the comments that I read. I read the comments with my name tagged, If you don't tag me, typically I assume that you're talking to the other people in the chat. That's just sort of how it works around here. Or you can do a super chat, and I'll definitely read those for sure. Mothy says, would 19,000 kV ever have an advantage over 22,000 kV? Technically speaking, if you don't need the extra power that the 22,000 kV will give you, technically speaking, there is a very, very, very small benefit in efficiency on 19,000 kV, but it's really only at full throttle, and it is so minimal that you would never really notice it. We're talking like fractions of a second runtime difference. And yeah, there's the disadvantages grossly outweigh that one almost non-existent advantage. I had two completely identical 5-inch Freestyle rigs, one of them on 2400 kV, the other one on 1850, I think, kV. And the 2400, both on 6S, the 2400s are scaled down to be the same kV as the 1850s, and I couldn't feel a difference in the air. There was no difference in runtime, and yeah, that's about it. The 2400 kV rig is much more like versatile because you can run 4-inch props on it. Christ, you could even run 3.5-inch props on it on 6S with that 2400 kV. And so, you know, if you show up to fly and you forgot all your 6S batteries and your buddy's got 4S batteries, you can just slap a 4S battery on, take the throttle limit off, or the motor limit off, and you can get some flying in. So there's an awful lot of advantages to running the higher kV motors. Yeah. Chris Rosser does have a video where he tests this on the thrust stand, and he shows that at full throttle, there is an efficiency difference. And that's very true. But over the course of a battery, you use full throttle for a sum total of like 3 seconds, right? Because you go full throttle and then you come off full throttle. So it's like 0.1 of a second full throttle. Another 0.1 of a second full throttle, 0.2 of a second full throttle, right? And then you cruise around, 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 you cruise around. 0.1 of a second full throttle, you cruise around, right? So over the course of the battery, you only use full throttle for like I said, a sum total of 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 seconds. So the fact that there's a difference at full throttle pretty much doesn't matter, right? Because you're just you're not sitting at full throttle the whole time. Racers, that's a little bit of a different story. They are deep in the throttle because they're 40, 50, 60 degrees up tilt. So for those guys, they might actually notice a difference. But for freestyle, we live at about 30% throttle. And at 30% throttle, there just isn't a significant difference in the efficiency between higher KV, motor limited down in beta flight, versus the correct KV for the voltage and prop size that you're running. This guy stays out and gets a Vista. This guy is going to get built. Let me move the chat over here so I can see it. And we will get to work on a little Tinylifter. Mothy says, would a lower KV ever help fly a heavy build more stable? Absolutely not. There's just no difference. If anything, the higher KV would be better in that situation because it's going to give you access to more power. Literally, the only possible thing that the low KV would ever do better is if you're in a situation where the high KV motor is so high of a KV that you have to motor limit it all the way down to 60% or 55%. But that's almost never the case. So yeah, there just aren't situations where the lower KV is better in the real world. Oh, I'm also moving this thing over to BT 2.0. We got some work to do, friends. And this is this Tinylifter we're gonna put onto these brand new Newbie Drone Flow 1102s in the lower KV, the 10,000 KV. which is actually a little bit too, I think this is a little too low of a KV, but I'm going to try to make that up with these 4-blade 1.6-inch props. And my thinking is that these will be the quietest of the propellers. And hopefully, they're also the heaviest though, but hopefully the 1102 stator volume is enough to make up for that. So this is, there's a pretty good chance that this ain't gonna work the way that I want it to be completely honest. Like, there's a pretty decent chance that these motors are either gonna be too low of a KV or these propellers are gonna be too heavy, but for science, right? Let's find out. I bought these motors in the 19,000 kV variant as well, which I can definitely motor limit down. But I want to try this out first. This will be a really interesting little. This whole Tinylifter thing is like a super duper oddball. Like, this is completely out of left field. So there's really, I don't know of anyone that's moving an Insta360 Go 2 around on a 75mm rig like this. So yeah, there's like nobody else that I can get ideas from as to what the right or wrong KV is. So we're sort of out in the woods all alone on this one. And when that happens, I always like to try things like at the limits, right? Like figure out what the lowest KV is. I think we've already sussed out that 18,000 kV on this with the beta FPV motors is too much. Those absolutely needed to be motor limited down a little bit. So we found the top, and technically speaking, we could just take, if any of the Tinylifters were still working, they are actually all down right now. They took a real ton of abuse at Rotor Riot Rampage. If any of them were working, technically speaking, we could just use the calculator and motor limit it down to the equivalent of 10,000 kV, and then put these these 4-blade props on and see how it flies. But there's a chance that these Newbie Drone Flow motors have more power than those beta FPV motors, so that really wouldn't be a fair fight, because yeah, these big old 4-bladed props are going to really push the limits of these tiny little motors. So it's this is the right way to do this test, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Lord Henrik says, can you ask the folks here what they think about the Xing-E 2207? It's like an eco Xing. The Xing economy motors are great, but I do not believe, if you're going to crash hard, all of the eco motors with the stainless steel motor shafts are going to be drastically less durable than their more expensive titanium motor shaft brethrens. And I've played that game before of, well, I'll just replace the motors more often. And what ended up happening is I was replacing the steel motor shaft motors that are cheaper so much more often that it was costing me more money. So if you don't crash much, you might be able to get away with the eco motors, but there are also performance problems. Like the titanium motor shaft is quite a bit lighter. It's like 1.5 grams, I think, maybe a little bit less than that, but it's definitely lighter, and lightweight motors make a really, really, really big difference. So, and if you're not crashing often, then that also kind of makes the case spend the extra little bit of money on the nicer motors, because you're not going to be wrecking them anyway. So, yeah, I'm a big proponent of the more expensive motors. I know that's not what some people want to hear, but in my experience, the titanium shaft motors are well worth the extra couple of bucks that they cost you. from a durability and performance standpoint. All that being said, pretty much all of the Xing motors are really good quality. iFlight does a hell of a job with their motors, so you really kind of can't go wrong with any of the Xing motors. Although, keep in mind, they are the heaviest of the motors. They are arguably more durable, although typically what you break on a motor is the motor shaft, and all of the motor shafts are the exact same material and the exact same thickness. So in most crashes, there is no difference. But in some crashes, there will be a little bit of a difference. And in some crashes, the Xings will hold up a little bit better than most of the others. So there you go. I Could Fly Here FPV says, I've flown my Insta360 Go2 on my Moblite 7. Nice, I Could Fly Here. Got, Jesus, 4 to 5 minute flight time. That's really good. You got any footage from it? PJ Denard says, with the iFlight Xing 1504 being discontinued, what's the comparable motor for 3-inch Freestyle? I don't know yet, PJ. The Toka 1505 is a really good choice, but it's considerably bigger and heavier, and it's got so much power that it's kind of got too much power. I know that's I know that sounds crazy because, you know, we're in America where there is no such thing as too much power. But it's true. It does make a little bit too much power, in my opinion. And that's where I really dug the 1504s. I'm going to be testing the Xing, I'm sorry, not the Xing, the Axis 1404s, but it's going to take some time. So, yeah, you're probably not going to want to wait for as long as that's going to take, because those are going to go on the rig with the Hyperlight 1504.5s. I can't really recommend the Hyperlight 1504.5s because it's looking like they're too fragile. So yeah, I don't really have a favorite. You could do the Emax 1306. That's a decent choice. But yeah, it's I got some more motor testing to do on 3-inch Freestyle rigs. It feels like it never ends. I can't believe that it's looking like they discontinued the high KV on those 1504s. That really sucks. Those are a really amazing motor. But that's how it goes in FPV. Every single time I find something that's good and durable and cheap, you know, they get discontinued. And either they don't get replaced at all, or sometimes they'll get replaced with something that's worse. Every once in a while they'll get replaced with something that's better, but it feels like more often than not they just don't get replaced with anything. So that's kind of frustrating, but you know, it's the name of the game, I guess. All right, so these are the NBD Flow 1102s. These guys are absolutely brand new. The other set of these I'm actually going to put on a little 2-inch toothpick, which should be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. That'll be a nice little yard rig for the new house to keep the volume down and not piss the neighbors off. So looking forward to that. That's going to get built with the Mobula 7 ELRS X12 board. So it'll have up to 400 milliwatts and Express LRS with a ceramic antenna, so that'll be pretty cool. These motor wires on these motors are extra long because I think this is kind of targeted more at toothpicks than tiny whoops, but that's okay. It's kind of interesting how that works. You know, we've got 5-inch Freestyle rigs to carry GoPros, and then to carry a GoPro cinematically, we've got 3-inch Cinewhoops. It's kind of interesting to see that same thing happen on a smaller scale here. But a toothpick is a little bit of a different situation than a donkey in the donkey. Words eluded him. Kevin Summer says, have you crashed those Axis Flying 1404 motors yet? I have not. Considering picking up a set for my Ripsqueak if they're durable. My guess is that they're going to be durable. Axis, Axis Flying is a company that was formed from a couple people that left T-Motor, and T-Motor knows how to make a durable motor, and the Axis motors literally look durable. I've got their 2306s on my test bed 5-inch Freestyle rig, and they've been extremely durable. So I'm willing to bet that the Axis 1404s are going to be plenty durable, especially because they're going to bring the weight of the Ripsqueak down versus 1504s, 1306s, 1505s. So they're also going to make the frame more durable. You know what I mean? So I have really high hopes. The Hyperlite motors, try not to be turned off by these Hyperlite 1404.5s being so fragile. I have heard from multiple people that Hyperlite motors in general are just not all that durable. So yeah, I mean, of course take that with a grain of salt, but I have a funny feeling that the Axis 1404s are going to be plenty durable, and they'll be a really good choice. So, but I'll have some feedback on those sooner than later. I definitely want to get keep the Ripsqueaks up and running for more house shenanigans. Although I really do need to introduce myself to the neighbors, show them a couple of drones, and hopefully get their cell phone numbers so that I can put a little group text message together, like a la Nick Burns, and when I go out to fly, just shoot them all a text message that says, hey, I'm out flying, I promise I won't kill you. Bob Noxious says, what about 1407? They have more stator volume than 1504. So 1407 is going to be way, 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 way too big. Keep in mind that the ratio of stator width to stator height makes a really big difference. For Freestyle, you want that ratio of width to height. You basically want your stator width to be roughly triple what the height is, triple to quadruple, and then for cinematic rigs, you want it to be 4 or 5 times as much. So 2004, you got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So it's perfectly a 5x multiplier. That's why the 2004s fly so good on Cinesplores. And then on 5-inch Freestyle rigs, for example, 2207, 7, 14, 21, 2306, 6, 12, 18, 23. Whatever, I did that math all wrong. But yeah, so for Freestyle, you want the height and the width to be, a 3x multiplier. On cinematic stuff, you want it to be roughly a 5x multiplier. So you look at like a 1407, right? 714. That's only a 2x multiplier. That's a motor that doesn't have enough stator width to stay cool. It's too tall of a motor, and it's going to get really, really hot. 661 says, so is 1002 good or bad at 5:1? It's not necessarily good or bad. It's just, technically speaking, that's more of a cinematic ratio of width to height. But with the smaller rigs, they fly so bad anyway that that ratio doesn't mean nearly as much. because basically with these smaller rigs, if you can find a motor that makes enough power, that is going to really dominate the flight experience and really change your perception of if it flies good or bad. So yeah, on these smaller rigs, just getting a motor that makes enough power and is still lightweight enough, that's the big thing. The ratio of height to width doesn't really seem to matter all that much, because the lack of power to weight is the biggest problem. It's why with tinywhoops, the one thing that you can do to improve the flight characteristics more than anything else is to just throw more power at it, but not at the expense of making it too heavy. It's really kind of interesting. What's up, Alex? Melderitskin says, I would think any motor with 14 magnets will be a lot smoother than one with 12, though. Not necessarily. There's much more to it than 14 and 12. You can there are 12 magnet motors that are plenty smooth. PJ Denard says, can't expect you to know everything. Pray for my motor's survival. In the meantime, I was loving the 1504 3900s. Yeah, they're a great motor. It's a shame that they're gone. I Could Fly Here says, Discord live stream live. Do me a favor, I Can Fly Here. Just what do you got going on? I really want to try to get this knocked out here. So forgive me, but I'm gonna keep my head in this build. Well, although I do need to look up the Acro B, so I might as well launch Discord while I'm at it. So I need to go to Newbie Drone and let's try this. Hey, that's what I needed. Open image in new tab. No! Don't be so small. Don't be so small. Small. Come on, please. Please give me that picture, please. Let me look at it. No. No. Yo, I might be getting sick, friends. That might be why my brain ain't working right. No! Give me the full-size image, yo. What's this button do? Google Lens? What the fuck does that mean? Google, I hate you. Why are you so confusing? How do I look at the bigger picture on this old computer? That's just gonna save this tiny little image, I think. How do I do computer things? Oh no, now I've made it angry. You won't like him when he's angry. Alright, let's see. No, I knew it. It's small. It's small. No. No. Hey! Thanks, guys. I Could Fly Here. There it is. So that's on. What motors is that on? What's that setup? Not bad. It's moving around. I'm assuming it's pretty down on power. That doesn't strike me as a as a build that's got a ton of power. But look at it, it's carrying it around, and there's no jello, which is pretty awesome. Although it looks like you're flying in relatively low light, which helps out quite a bit. But yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. I'm 0802 19,000. Wow, I can't believe that those motors have enough to move that thing around. Although there is a really big difference between just moving it around and having something that's got like good authority that can really like be confident in the air. I had this. The motors that I just pulled off of this actually were the 20,000 kV Newbie Drone 0802s, and they flew. They flew surprisingly like okay, but they got really, really hot. So yeah, it's Cinesplore blub blub. I see how it is. All right, let's get this ELRS module soldered up here. So let me think about this for 1 second. Do I want to shoot the wires out the top or the bottom? So this is probably going to sit something like this, and so I'm going to fire the wires out the top, I think. So we've got ground, 5 volt, and then RX. All right, so yellow is RX, so that's going to go to the T on the little, which ELRS is this? This is the Flywoo ELRS receiver. And, man, I can barely read that silk screening. Hold on, let me move this cord around a little bit. All right, there we go. What do we got here? We've got, is that an R? Yeah, it's an R, a T, plus and a minus. Okay, I see you. I see you, little fella. So what did I say? I want to put these at the top. Yeah. All right. Minus, plus. What did I say the yellow is? The yellow is RX. Hey, perfect. So these are going to go 1-to-1. This wiring harness is going to go directly to these. There's no crossed wires. That is a fucking miracle. Let's get a little bit of this Massadhesive.com electronic goop going here. We're going to stick this little guy into it, and it's going to hold it real nice for us while we bring the soldering iron in and do our things. This stuff is, it seems to be better than the Funtac. It's designed for soldering. It's designed to not absorb heat, which is pretty fucking cool. And yeah, I'm digging it. I've used it a bunch now, and definitely works. We'll get some flux on these pads here, and got a little bit of solder. So I'm going to do this a little different in that since these are through holes, I'm going to put the wires through, and then I'm going to add solder. I'm not going to tin the pads. I'm going to assume that the wires are pre-tinned. That's a stupid assumption. Let's just really quickly tin the wires to make sure that they don't have. A lot of times when wires are pre-tinned, they're pre-tinned with lead-free solder, and that stuff sucks. Oh man, so this is a little pigtail that you have to use with the Acroby, and unfortunately it's got the shitty wire insulation on it, so that's a real bummer. But not the end of the world. So we're tinned up a little bit better now. Let's get these in the holes, and then we'll add some solder, and away we will go. So I can probably just kind of balance it like that. Yeah, that looks fine. So we're going to bring the tip of the soldering iron in on one side. We're going to add solder from the other side. It's going to flow on the pad. It's gonna annihilate the insulation, but it should be okay. Man, this ain't. I might actually not use these through pads because of the insulation situation. What should I do here? I'm going to mount this thing at an angle, I think, and I think I am going to tin these pads. Yeah, I am going to tin these pads, and then I'm going to bring the soldering iron tip from one side and then push the wire in the other side. That's going to get the wire, that's going to keep as much heat off of this wire as possible, which is important because, again, this is the shitty wire insulation. I also kind of want to shorten these guys up a little bit. There's no reason for these to be so long. They're going to be coming off here and then just getting plugged in. So yeah, I'm gonna shorten these up quite a bit, actually, just so this is a nice clean build and we don't have a ton of wires everywhere. So let's go like there. I'm roughly cutting them in half. That's roughly half the size. And then usually with this wire insulation, if I get it hot, so I'm not even going to strip this insulation back. I'm going to leave it full length, and I'm going to basically tin the insulation, and then that insulation is going to like melt itself like it always does, and that should expose enough of the wire. I've never actually done this before, so this will be interesting. And I'm just going to push this little wiring harness into the goop. And all right, so let's tin the insulation, see what happens. I only need a little tiny bit of the wire to show through. Yep. That totally works. Although, let me take a really close look at it with the little 5X loop real quick. Whoa, boy. Because what I want to make sure... Oh yeah, we're good. What I want to make sure is that there's not... That I'm going to get a good clean connection and there's not like molten insulation over the wire, but there isn't. It's working exactly as I was hoping. So there you go. If you have to deal with these wires that have the shitty insulation, the problem with stripping these is that you strip them and then you go to tin them and it strips back like way farther than you want it to. Doing it like this, the insulation melts away about the right amount, just about the perfect amount. Looks like hell, but yeah, it should work just fine. Let me check the rest of these real quick to make sure that we've got nice shiny wire rather than wire covered with disgusting insulation. Nope. Yeah. Wow. That works really well. It's kind of sketchy to do it that way, but I mean, it's a fucking tinywhoop. Who cares, right? Let me see if I can get you guys a little close up. This is probably a terrible idea because Logitech's software is useless. Alright, so there we go. Logitech has now switched into 4x3 for no goddamn reason. So I'll set that back. And then I take the autofocus off, go to manual. And it looks like they've removed the option to zoom in. That's really frustrating. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, so let me see what I can give you guys here. Whoa, look at me. Look at me go. So you see how that works? I didn't even strip these. I just like tinned them directly on the thing, and look, the shitty ass What's this insulation? PVC, I think, right? This is not silicone insulation. Yeah, the insulation just melts back. This side looks much uglier, but it is shiny. There is plenty of shininess on those wires for some good connection with the ELRS receiver. So, yeah, look at that. All right, let me put this all back. Go back to autofocus. And all right, it is PVC. Okay, good. Bugs FPV. If you want to ask me a question, make sure you type CiottiFPV into your comment. I just happened to see your comment. There's a link to this 5X loop. Any old 5X loop will work, but there's a link to one of these on Amazon down below in my description, which is an affiliate link. So. I'll get a tiny percentage of your entire order cart. Every time you guys are ordering stuff off of Amazon, think of your content creating buddies. It's free money if you hit our affiliate links before you check out. It makes a big difference, and many of us rely on that income to be able to continue creating content. So yeah, Amazon and a lot of FPV sites. Get FPV, Oh My God's website, FPV Crate, FPV Cycle. Sad to see FPV. I've been forgetting to mention this. I didn't know if they wanted me to mention it, but I work with FPV Crate and found out a while ago that they weren't going to be doing the monthly boxes anymore, and I didn't say anything because I didn't think they would want me to. But then they sent around that email blast letting everybody know, and I meant to mention it, but I fucking forgot. And then, but luckily, Joshua and Blunty mentioned it on the news the other night. So, yeah, their store is staying open, which is great because their store has a lot of really good stuff. But yeah, I mean, with the chip shortage and all the prices on our shit going through the roof, it's just not realistic for them to be able to do the subscription boxes anymore, which is a shame. I mean, I guess technically they could just jack the price way up, but I'm assuming, but like, yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? Like if the box was like $100, it's like, oof, I'm gonna buy what I want rather than random stuff in the box, you know? All right, so ground is on the bottom. These pads are looking fine. Yeah, pads have plenty of solder on them. So I'm gonna bring the the tip of the soldering iron in on this side of the board, and then I'm just gonna push each of these wires in. I'm actually gonna go from the top down to get these guys on in there. So first is RX. Next is TX. As always, you want to make sure that you've got the wire in position, ready to go before you bring the tip of the soldering iron in. You want to be on and off the pad as quickly as possible. And then we've got 5 volt. And ground. Ground pad will always take a little tiny bit longer, especially on like a big old ESC. On a tiny little PCB like this, it's barely any longer. Man, these silicone wires suck. Or, sorry, not silicone, PVC insulated wires suck. All right, so I want to make sure that I got these guys through enough. Yeah, it looks about right. The thing that I really hate about these PVC wires is that when you grab the wire, when the wire gets hot and then you grab it with your tweezers, it it blows right through the insulation, and you get a little bit of the wire showing through. So you can't really like, yeah, it just sucks, man. It's just a bad. They should not use these. They should not use this PVC wire on anything. So let's see if I cut these too short. I think I might have. Oh, I definitely cut them too short. Shit, the plug is on the outside, not on the inside. I'm stupid. I'm gonna have to do this again, I think. Oh, that was a big dumb thing to do. I didn't realize that it's on the that this plug is on the outside like this. Let's see. Maybe it'll be all right. So if I flip this over and give it a little twisty boy, nah, we should be okay, I think. So the goober canopy is going to come down like that, and just basically got to make sure that you have enough clearance on the ceramic antenna for the goober canopy. Oh no, I think we're okay. I think we're totally fine. Yeah, that'll go right there. Video antenna will come right up, and we'll be all set. Cool, got away with it. Bugs FPV with a heart. Bob Noxious says it's bookmarked. Cinesplore Blub says, I have a question that I was saving for a Joshua Bardwell Q&A. Is there a FLIR thermal camera that can be mounted to a 5-inch quad? I want to see critters on my property at night. Probably. The problem is going to be thermal cameras are hideously expensive. They were like the holy grail back when I was into airsoft, way back when, for night games. And like a couple real operators would show up and like bring theirs, and they would just shit all over everyone. Yeah, I think price is going to be the biggest problem. Hey, do me a favor, remind me if I forget ground on the outside. I'm going to put BT 2.0 on here in a second. Ground is on the outside. Let's get the shrimp wrap on here real quick to keep this thing isolated from everything else. So we can cut this down a little bit. Let's go like this, and I think I want about that much. It's pretty much exactly half. All right. Before you go down that hideously expensive route, try out a Starlight camera. That might be all you need. There are a bunch of Starlight cameras out there. Look at the lux rating. You want a lux rating of like our normal cameras have a minimum lux rating of like, I want to say 0.01, I think it is. The Starlight cameras, you're going to see like 0.001, 0.0001, and there might even be 0.00001. You want the smallest number possible there. So realistically, you want to try to find 0.0001 or 0.00001. And I think you should be able to find it, man. This is a big old piece of shrink wrap for this tiny little ELRS receiver. Let's see how it shrimps up. At the new house, I will have a heat gun for all of you that lose your minds when I still use a lighter or a torch to do this kind of shit. I've decided, I did a bunch of research and on battery-powered tools, like shop tools, garage tools, and I settled on Milwaukee. There's a guy here on YouTube, Project Farm, who does phenomenal testing of shop tools and other things, and so I watched a bunch of his stuff, and like Milwaukee stuff typically doesn't finish first, but it's usually like second or third or fourth. And with the battery powered tools, in my opinion, it's pretty important to pick a brand and stick with it, because then you can just get a bunch of that brand's batteries, and you don't have to have 20 different types of batteries and 30 different chargers and shit. So yeah, Milwaukee seemed like a good bet, and they're red. To be honest, the big part of the decision was that they're red, and that's one of my colors. My tongue is planted in my cheek a little bit, but I'll be honest, it did have something to do with it. I was like, ooh, the Ryobi stuff is cheap, but what the fuck is that color all about? I'm sure it's fine though, but yeah. And they do have an M18. M18 is I think it's an 18 volt, but M18 refers to their bigger batteries. M12 is their smaller batteries, or their smaller batteries rather. And so yeah, I'm pretty sure they have an M18 heat gun, which will just be awesome to have a battery powered little heat gun. It won't be awesome. It'll be somewhat useful. There are actually things that I like about the little tiny torch. Namely that it's just like really accurate. It just puts a tiny little bit of heat exactly where you ask it to, and not anywhere that you don't. Ground pad is being a jerk. Let's tin the tip of the iron to get a little bit of flux on there. There we go. There we go. Alright, cool. So, negative on the outside. The next question is, which side of the goddamn BT 2.0 is negative? I think it's the flat side. I think it's the flat side of the BT 2.0 that's negative. But I think one of the, there we go. Nope, the flat side is positive. Okay. So the flat side is positive, and that means that white is negative. Okay, great. So white is negative. So let's get our stuff back. So we're going to go white on the outside, blue on the inside. Bugs FPV says, not having the safety on the lighter removed is the craziest thing. Yeah, it's fine. Kevin Sumner says, grounding the outside. Thank you, dude. 661 says, Milwaukee tools are great, but I'm a DeWalt fanboy myself. I'm some of the DeWalt stuff does okay. Maybe don't watch Project Farm's testing, because I don't remember if the DeWalt stuff, I think some of the DeWalt stuff might do really bad in his testing, and I don't want you to feel bad. But you know, whatever. I don't like it when I try to, you know, not suggest things that'll make people feel bad. And like, brand loyalty is a real thing. And like, I try to not be brand loyal if at all possible, but man, it's fucking hard. It is hard. We are like, that shit is like ingrained in our heads here in America to be super brand loyal. It's a really strange thing. Like, these brands have not done anything for us ever. But, you know, there's so much garbage product out there that it does kind of make sense that it's like, ooh, I found somebody that doesn't make horrible shit. I want to buy all their stuff. All right, so that ground pad is not really cooperating. I'm going to have to rework that one, but it's kind of tacked on there right now. I don't love the way, so I need to be able to push down on these. So I'm going to put the board up like this so I can really push down, because there's the little crenellations, or whatever the hell they're called, crescents, whatever, in the edge of the board. And yeah, I really like to kind of push down on those. So let's come in here, we'll hit it with another little bit of flux, and then we'll just rework it real quick. And then we'll move on to the positive pad. Alright. This is probably fine as it is, but I'm a maniac. This also lets me get a nice chunk of the flat part of the soldering iron up on this wire, which is going to transfer the heat a little bit better. There we go. Much better. All right, and there we go with the positive. What am I hitting? Okay, the tweezers are hitting the battery pad. So there we go. Okay. Come on, there it is. Positive is always very quick and easy, mainly because it's not, unlike the ground, it's not jacked into a big old ground plane that's the size of the board. So positive pads will always be a lot easier than grounds. That's the stuff. So I just reworked that ground one more time because the positive went on there so nicely that I realized that it was still sitting up on that little pad more than it needed to be. Robert Garcelon says, Milwaukee does not have a heat gun, just check their site. God damn it, I could have sworn I saw one. That's really annoying. Ram Donko says, ask CiottiFPV Aircon. Aircon says, I'm noticing that rapid fire mode 1 shows a clear black vertical bar on the left side. Doesn't matter if I use my meter 65 ELRS, Mobby 70 hours. Only this supports mode 2. Is this normal? I've never played around with mode 1, to be honest with you. So I don't know. Castellations, that's the word. Thank you, Kevin. That's interesting, Aircon. Yeah, I only ever use mode 2. So I don't know. Robert Gerslin says, get a heat gun with temperature adjust knob, not just high-low like my Craftsman. So my dad actually got me a Weller heat gun, which I think does have a temperature knob on it. It is plug-in though. But yeah, this is kind of nice. I'll use that. Since Milwaukee does not have a battery-powered one, that's awesome. And it'll be cool because it's a Weller. I'll just need to find a little spot for it. Okay, yeah, we're good. I would love to get this a little tiny bit flatter, but that's me being a complete maniac. So that is actually all that we need to do here. The VTX is on board. We soldered up the little ELRS module. And the best thing about these Newbie Drone Flow 1102 motors is that they have the right goddamn connectors for these Newbie Drone boards. So that is the extent of the soldering that we need to do. This is a very, very simple little build. So now we can just move right on to assembly. I think the red is usually, I don't know, I'm going to get it wrong no matter what I do, so I'm just going to randomly pick motor 1 as red, and we'll just go for it. So let's get a couple screws in here, and we will be off to the races. Ramdonko says that heat gun looks so vintage. Yeah, it is. It is. It's even that, like, it's that vintage, like, beige, tan kind of color. Which, like, well, I love Weller's, like, vintage blue. I wish it was this vintage blue. Not vintage, but whatever. I wish it was this light blue. But that's okay. It might actually be really cool looking to have it sitting next to the, you know, a little bit of the old school blue, a little bit of the old school tan. Could be pretty cool. I'm gonna on Thingiverse, I've noticed there's a whole shitload of like holsters for. So I went onto Thingiverse and I typed in Milwaukee, and there's like a million pegboard, like, you know, specific holders for different jib jabs and flip flops. Which is really cool. What am I doing here? This is, we're going up here. And I'm hoping, there's one of them there was one of them that I saved to my little collection thing. That's a it's a specific little holder that clamps onto IKEA table legs, round IKEA legs, and that's what desk legs, and that's what this desk is. This is an IKEA desk with the round little flip-flops, legs rather, and so I'm hoping that that'll work. That'd be pretty cool. I think it's for a screwdriver, but yeah, hopefully that can be modified. And then we'll have a little holster on the side thing. I just leave it plugged in all the time and flip it on when I need it. Heat some stuff up, you know? Know what I'm saying? Do yourself a favor. If you have like, if you have a bunch of tools, go on Thingiverse and type in the brand. There's all kinds of cool shit, man. I was on there. I must have been on there for an hour just looking through like 18 pages of different stuff. It's too cool for me not to show you. Hold on. Look at this. All right, so if I come to Thingiverse, oh, keystrokes are down. Sign up, log in, sign in. My collections. Look at all this stuff. Ready? Oh, so there it is. There it is. Hand drill holder for IKEA table. So I'm hoping that that little heat gun, I know that it'll fit in there. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff like this, man. Look at this. Look at some of the stuff that I collected, is the word that they use. Look at that. Look at that. Leaf blower wall mount. Look at that big boy. Oh, come on now. Look at that. Look, there's nozzles. Little stubby nozzles. Replacement, different, whatever, nozzles. I can't wait to get this blower, yo. Ooh, I can't wait to have a wireless blower. Ugh. Look at this. Put them all up upside down. Those are the M18 mounts. This is what the M18 mount looks like here. Hold them all upside down like that. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. Come on now. You can't tell me that doesn't give you a big old stiffy. Drywall saw cover. Don't want to cut your face up with a drywall saw. Nobody wants that. Come on. Another leaf blower nozzle? Come on. You know you want a custom nozzle on your blower. Look at this! Little bit holder for the drill, for their drill. Come on. I mean, the fact that they don't have a little bit holder built in is kind of silly, but, you know, look at that. That gives me a stiffy. More some pegboard M12 mounts. I have an M12 Milwaukee Dremel now, and a little small this exact drill actually as well. I've been getting a bunch of stuff really cheap from. Look at this, yo. Ooh, tell me that doesn't satisfy every bone in your body if you're an Apple person. Ooh, come on, you can't tell me that doesn't give you morning wood. Racing seat phone holder. I used to have one of these that I bought from a store. Look at that. Come on now. The beauty of Thingiverse. This is the that's not it. I have a different shifter holder, but yeah, I have a Brain 3D printed to be something from here for my manual H pattern shifter for the sim rig. So there's that, which is cool. All right. BugsFPV says, can I not export 1080p videos from Final Cut Pro 10 with 50 megabits per second? I have no idea, man. I use Adobe Premiere, so I have no clue what Final Cut Pro will and won't do. But I bet you if you type that question into Google or here on YouTube, somebody will answer it for you. Google is doing a real good job lately of coming up with search results to YouTube videos from like text conversions. They're doing some kind of text conversions on the fly, I guess. Oh man. just realized that I put this thing on wrong. I put this carbon fiber X brace on upside down, and that's a little bit annoying, but it's kind of not the end of the world, but it's kind of fucking super annoying. If I ever have to remove these, I'm just gonna leave it though. It's fine. 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 Don't freak out. It's fine. Don't undo it. Don't undo it. It's fine. Moving on. Go. Go, 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 go. Just keep putting motors on. Don't be a crazy person. Don't be a crazy person. You gotta talk yourself out of it sometimes, boys. When the OCD is really coming on hard, you can talk yourself out of it. You can talk through it. Just talk yourself out of it. Don't be crazy. Don't be don't do it. It's like you're talking to a dog. Don't. Maggie's dog is named Duke, and Duke does this thing where he goes over to his food bowl, and instead of eating his food like a good boy, he's a little shit, and he pushes his food all around with his nose, and he pushes it on the floor, and he makes a huge goddamn mess with his food, and then he bitches and moans when he doesn't have any food anymore because it's all on the fucking floor. So I hear him. I hear it happening because his bowl's metal. So I'll hear him start pushing it around. I go, Duke! No matter where I am in the house, like, Duke, don't push it around. Eat it, Duke. And now I do that same thing with my self-talk. I have to, to tell myself not to be crazy sometimes. Whatever works, man. Whatever works. It's okay to be crazy. But, if you can get a handle on it, it's kind of nice. And man, I got plenty of crazy to get a handle on. Look at these long ass motor wires. Woo! I got these things twisted up as much as I can, but they're still very, very long. Which is kind of annoying because it's just like extra weight for no reason, but I'll be goddamned if I'm going to desolder these things from these motors, cut them down, re-strip them, re-tin them, and resolder them to the motors. That's just something that's not happening. Which sucks because this is probably like an extra gram or two of 30 gauge wire. So yeah, I don't know. If I really dig these motors, maybe someday I'll play that game. But that day ain't today, that's for sure. All right, come on now. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. My God, I hate working on tiny whoops. In some ways it's easier, but in a lot of ways it's just infuriatingly small. And I guess the only ways that it's easier are in that like the VTX is on the AIO. And there's motor plugs. You don't have to direct solder the motors. Should, but don't have to. Ramdago says, where are the batteries going to go? 2S. Right in the bottom here. Right in here. Just like a regular old tiny whoop. And then there's another little one on the bottom here. See it? This is the Cockroach 75 frame. It comes with these little 3D printed jib-jabs. And these screws to kind of screw them together. See now, and I put this carbon fiber brace upside down. The screw heads, see the screw heads are facing upwards? That's stupid. That's me making a mistake. But I probably won't have to remove them, and they look like they're tight enough. So yeah, I'll probably get away with it. But although now that I say that, I'm gonna give them an extra little half a turn to make sure that they are tight enough, because once I get the AIO on here, I won't be able to mess with these at all. So let's just give it another little tiny turn. Did anybody dig the all the ranting and raving we did on Monday about cinematic stuff. We were talking about the Batman movie and like broken lenses and shit. Was that too much for you guys, or was anybody actually like interested in that? I don't have to go on those rants. Like I'm somewhat into filmmaking, but you know, you guys aren't necessarily, and that's fine. But it is what we're doing, you know. Even if you're just in it for flying around, like there is more to it, and eventually you will get a little bit of burnout on just flying around. And so yeah, I hope that by talking about the cinematic side of things every so often, that it makes you guys more comfortable with it, and you can just kind of transition right over into that, if that kind of thing floats your boat. All right, so we're gonna get some VHB on the bottom of this ELRS jib jab, get it stuck down to the AIO, and then keep on grooving here. It's gonna be a little. Oh Jesus, it's 9:50 already. I was about to say this is gonna be a longer stream tonight. I had a feeling it was gonna be anyway, and the fact that it's been an hour and 50 minutes already is hysterical. Trey Cummings says, asking for a friend. I'm getting into the hobby. Would you say anything against 1102s on a 65mm whoop frame? Yeah, absolutely, Trey. There's no reason whatsoever. That is way, 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 way too big of a motor for a 65mm motor-to-motor 1.2-inch tiny whoop. You do not need to go over 0802. And in fact, if you keep the build light, the new 0702s are actually the hot shit. So yeah, definitely don't put 1102s on a 1.2-inch prop. That is way, 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 way too much motor. That is not going to perform well at all. Basically, you're going to have a tiny whoop that's entirely too heavy, and yeah, it's just going to really struggle from that extra weight. It's gonna literally make it harder to fly because of all the extra weight. So yeah, definitely don't do that. The hot tiny whoop setup right now is the Mobula 6 ELRS 1S, which comes with 0702 26,000 kV motors, and then you either put Gemfan tri-blades on those motors, or if it's somebody that's new to the hobby, just leave it the hell alone. They're going to break that frame pretty quick. You're going to have them replace the frame with a Beta FPV Meteor 65 frame, and at some point, if they want more power, they can go to either the Gemfan tri-blade or the HQ tri-blade, and that's about it. Down the road, if they really get good, they can hopefully track down some of the Tiny Whoop 0702 30,000 kV motors, and then you pair those up with the Gemfan biblades. But to be honest, the motors that thing come with are really, really good, and plenty for a new pilot for their first, like, at least a year of flying. But yeah, 1102s have absolutely no place on a 65mm tiny whoop. That is a combo that is not going to work right. Not to mention that none of the 1102s have enough kV for those tiny little propellers. So not only would the rig become too heavy, but it wouldn't have enough power to make up for any of that extra weight. So it would actually make less power than an 0702 or an 0802 that's a 25 or a 26,000 kV, and it would also be too heavy. So it would just be a rig that flew like ass, to be honest with you. All right, so I think that is going to be a good spot for this ELRS module, although I gotta be honest, if it's crooked like this, it's gonna drive me absolutely insane. So I'm gonna put it on here straight, even though technically having it crooked might work a little bit better, but we'll just ignore that. Bob Noxious says you're a wealth of information. Thank you, dude. That is how the live streams began. Joshua was like, yo, you're really good. Joshua had me on one of his live streams a couple of years ago, and he was like, dude, you're really good at that. You should maybe look into doing that. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, I've always wanted to like spread the micro information as far and wide as I possibly can, in hopes that more people will, start flying them and continue to figure out the good combos, the good part combos. And yeah, that led to the live streams beginning, and it's been over 2 years now. I didn't even realize it, but yeah, it's been over 2 years that I've been live streaming. Great question, by the way, Trey Cummings. Denzel the Terrible says, please ran away. PJ says, your stream, your rants, we're here for you and your personality. Be yourself and talk about whatever you want. All right, cool. Trey says, thank you, sir. My wisdom is more 5-inch. He flew in 3 weeks after sim training, Meteor 65 to Tiny Hawk Freestyle 2 already. Wants to experiment, quick learner. Very cool. Modula 6 ELRS is a hell of a thing, man. On those motors, whoo boy, that changes tiny whooping in a big way. It really takes tiny whooping from like a two-dimensional RC car that you kind of drive around to something that's fully three-dimensional that you can hurl up over the couch and everything else in your house. It's really pretty impressive, which you're going to get to see in a minute or two. I'm not going to do the beta flight setup on this or anything. I'm just going to kind of slam this together, and we're going to move on because it is, about to be 10 o'clock, and I don't want down to stream a little bit extra, but I don't want this to be a 3-hour long live stream. So, yeah. All right. So we're going to pass these guys through. I think that's how I do it. I think they pass through in the rear here. And then we've got this guy to line up here. Okay. And make sure that those battery leads are coming out where I want them to. Yeah, that's correct. All right, good. So that's all happy up in there. This is the Acro B V3. What are you beeping for? What is this about? Powering off. Why were you powered on? What is happening? This broken GoPro is all kinds of jacked up, man. It's acting really weird. It did charge the battery though, so that's all that matters. That's all that I wanted to do was charge my 2 batteries here. So that's just the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me. All right, cool. Yeah, both batteries are charged. Kill this. Those are good. Put them away, and now this GoPro can go back to Best Buy. Ready? Oh man, I don't want to hit anything important, but it hit something hard. What did it hit, I wonder? Oh, it didn't hit anything hard. Let's do it again. The more banged up it is, the better chance that they'll be like, oh yeah, there's no way that's going to get repaired. All right, if I can, the front door is pretty hard, but the front door is right next to a mirror, and I don't typically, I used to play baseball, but there's a good one, yeah! I'm sure it's completely fine, but a couple of the local guys smack them with hammers and smack them on the ground and shit before they bring them in, and apparently but I don't know, that feels weird. Wesley Withers says, is Newbie Drone still using the MPU 6000 V3 board? They have not used the MPU 6000 since the V1. The V2 and now the V3 have 32K gyros, but they're good 32K gyros, so it's fine. 661 says, have you seen the LED faceplate for the DJI goggles? I just saw that before the stream. It does look crazy. I don't know. I try to attract as little attention as possible to me. So yeah. Bob Noxious says, you didn't break it good enough. Run that GoPro over the car. That's one of the other things that the local guys will do, is they'll run them over the car. Although, unless you pull the battery, running them over with the car does practically nothing. It's really kind of amazing how resistant they are to 3 to 4 to 5,000 pounds of automobile. All right, let's get these motors plugged in here. And we will be pretty much good to go. Slap the canopy on. You guys can look at it and go, ooh, ah, and then we'll do some flying and wrap this shit on up for tonight. All right. Get back on there. Alright, we got this little guy, get him in there. Sometimes I try to get it started without the tweezers and it's just infuriating. I think the move is to get it started with the tweezers, and then I like to use my little finger and fingernail to press it in the rest of the way so that you can kind of feel it. With the tweezers, it feels weird to really push down hard on these with the tweezers. It feels like you're going to push right through one of the wires or something like that. So I really like to do it with my finger and fingernail to make sure that they get seated all the way. All right, so there we go with that. And oh, you know, actually, am I even going to be able to run ELRS on this? I might have to wait for them to put out. So Newbie Drone uses a special chip on their boards for OSD, and that prevents them from using the regular Betaflight releases. They have to make their own hexes, their own custom hexes, and they do not have a Betaflight 4.3 hex yet, and I don't think that their most recent hex has Express LRS support. Although I think maybe, possibly, there's a chance that I might have heard that the Acro-B V3 does have a hex in Betaflight. Maybe. Possibly. Please, God, make it so. I don't know. I couldn't possibly be that lucky for that to have happened. Here goes the ultra short Singularity antenna by TrueRC, an antenna company that doesn't hate transgender people, unlike the other big antenna company, Vaz. Basically, TrueRC makes GetFPV's Axie antennas, and then they make all their own antennas. So just stick with either GetFPV's Axie antennas or TrueRC antennas, and you won't be supporting a hateful company, because pretty much all of the other antennas out there are made by the hate-filled company. And when I say company, I mean it's one guy. All right, so we've got a screw up front. Make sure we get it all the way down here. Denzel the Terrible says, TrueRC is Canadian, so they're obviously the best. There's that too. Kevin Sumner says 4.3 is only required for SPI receivers. Ah, right. Just need to set Crossfire for the external. Right. Good call, brother. Good call. 661 says, does it run Crossfire? Also, is there a way to get S-Bus out of ELRS? It's a good question, 661. I don't know. Oh, look at that. 661 also says, apparently Vaz apologized for his statement, but it's kind of fake and too late to me. PJ says, in a nutshell, what happened with Vaz? Couldn't find any solid information. the main guy at Vaz said some really horrible shit about transgender folks. And that shit just don't fucking fly with me. And a lot of other really great people in FPV. So it was really nice to see a bunch of people not be okay with that and just, you know, blast him. I am 100% for people learning and being willing to apologize, and yeah, like that's really important. You know, this very quickly becomes a discussion of cancel culture, right? Cancel culture has a lot of power, and in a lot of cases, I think it's actually right, but we got to be really careful with cancel culture because, like, every single one of us at one point has said some nasty, racist, you know, transphobic, whatever shit. And, you know, like, that we have to be allowed to learn. So I love that he apologized, but what's interesting is that 661 said that it kind of seemed fake, and so that's where it becomes really hairy, right? Because it's like you want to give people, yeah, I don't know, that's tough. That's really, really, really tough. The fact that he apologized is a really good thing, right? Because where I think cancel culture is absolutely right is when people double down on shit, and refuse to apologize, refuse to admit they're wrong, and just, you know, and so that's where I think, fuck yeah, cancel culture all day, baby. Like, those people do not deserve to exist. It's not true, but you guys know what I'm saying. Those people do not deserve to thrive. If they're just going to be hateful for the sake of being hateful against, you know, entire groups of people that are not choosing to be a certain way, right? We're talking racism, we're talking transphobia, we're talking anti-LGBT stuff. So yeah, that's really good that he apologized. I hate that that 661 feels like it's fake, because yeah, you know, like, you can kind of tell a lot of times, but we need to remember that, you know, we have to be able to learn. We have to be able to get shit wrong from time to time, and it's what you do when you're wrong that defines you, and that's the important part, right? And yeah. There we go, friends. That's a Tinylifter. I've got to do all the setup and whatnot, and we're not going to knock that out on tonight's live stream. But I am going to put these props on so that you can see how it looks all dressed up. And we'll also see how hard... Ooh, yeah, perfect. Sometimes with tinywhoop propellers, they will fit way, way, way too tight on the motor shafts. And it's a real nightmare when that happens, and it can cause, you can actually bend the motor shafts and ruin the motors just from trying to take the propellers off. So I'm really happy with the amount of force that this takes to put these on. This is just the right amount of force, just enough to where I'm not worried about them flying off, but not so much that I'm worried about fucking up these motors trying to take props off and on. So there you go, friends, a red and purple Tinylifter on 1102 10,000s. I'll get this set up probably early next week, and we'll get it up in the air on next week's Whoop Wednesday. Naked HD Fun. Oh, man. I was looking forward to that. Kevin Sumner says 661 have to wonder how much the apology is driven by the money stream drying up versus actually genuine. Yeah, and that, you know, so that's where it's like, yeah, that's where it becomes a real gray area. But a lot of people that say racist, hateful, awful shit will double down on it and refuse to even apologize regardless of what it has to do for their business, has to do with their business. And those are the ones that I can just be like, nope, fuck you for life. Even if it's driven by money and they're not wanting their business to suffer, the willingness to admit that they're wrong and sort of admit that they're wrong, right? Because in their head they could just be like, "Oh, I'm just saying this." It's a step in the right direction, I guess. Lord Hendrick says, I think regardless of anyone's opinions, injecting politics into FPV is fucking everything up. We come here to escape the outside world. Yeah, I don't really consider it to be politics. I don't consider human rights to be politics. Human rights are human rights, and politics are politics. And hateful people who are actively trying to remove human rights from entire groups of people, those folks don't have a place here on Earth with me. You know, those people are Nazis, right? Like, that's why the Nazis will forever go down in history as being Nazis. And that's why, like, the word Nazi has such a strong... It's just so strong, right? Like, and that's... I will never be cool with that. And you guys shouldn't either. So, yeah, do yourself a favor. Separate politics from basic human rights, because it's a shame that politicians and politics choose to get involved with human rights. Like, that's fucked up. That's the problem. We need as many people as possible to realize that and separate these two things, right? Politics or taxes and all this other bullshit, right? This stuff that human rights are human rights. Okay, transgender people are born, essentially, an easy way to think about it, their brain is a certain gender and their body is the opposite gender. If you don't believe in that, you're wrong. And you need to meet someone and talk to someone who is transgender, and they will educate you, or just listen to those of us that understand this and have, you know, maybe family members that are, for example. And you know, racism is the same way, right? Like, if you don't think racism exists, you need to make a black friend, and you need to make more friends of different cultures and nationalities and races and yada yada yada. So yeah, basic human rights are very important, and I will never not talk about that. I don't give a rat's ass if it's an FPV stream or a you know, stream for whacking off. Human rights are human rights, and anybody that wants to take human rights away from people that didn't choose, yeah, you guys know where I'm going with this. It's Ken Aaron, what's up, homie? You came in for a very strange part of the conversation. Oddly enough, you came in for some tiny whoop flying again. I think the last time Ken hopped on, I was just starting to. Ken, let me guess. You spend some time Wednesday nights on YouTube, huh? Yeah. Last time Ken came by, I was flying tiny whoops, and we're about to fly some tiny whoops again. I just finished up what I've called a Tinylifter. It's a little 75mm tiny whoop on 2S designed to carry on those little red loops on top an Insta360 Go 2. I'm not going to be flying this tonight. I got to do all the beta flight setup and shit. I just wanted to get the build done. But yeah, so tonight is the last time that I'm going to be tiny whooping here in my apartment in Alpharetta with all of the decorations and shit up. I'm moving in with my girlfriend Maggie and her kids in a couple of weeks. And tomorrow, my buddy Patrick is coming over with his pickup truck. And we're going to load a bunch of shit into the pickup truck and bring it on over to the house. So I'm going to start... Oh, boy. I'm going to start taking shit down off the walls and whatnot. I'll probably still fly this place once or twice more, but it's going to look a lot more sparse pretty soon. So, yeah. You showed up Just in time, friend. Let me get this a little bit lower here, so it's a little bit more in frame. At the house, the flying while live streaming situation is going to be so much better. On the new computer, I'll be able to have a video receiver module that feeds directly in, like I do on my laptop now. And then I'm also going to have multiple SMA wires. There's going to be one running outside. There's going to be one running up into the living room. And there's going to be another... and there's also going to be a DJI kind of thing going on as well. So yeah, the whole flying while live streaming thing is going to really take off at the new place, and I can't wait. My God, there is one of the bigger clumps of hair that I've ever seen in this motor. So let me get this taken care of real quick, friends, because this ain't gonna like this much hair in this motor. This is a Weeha chip lifter. This is the best possible way to remove tinywhoop props without damaging the motor, which is a real concern because these little tiny motors are very fragile. There's a link to this chip lifter down below in the description of all my videos. If you're gonna fly tinywhoops, you should buy one. Best $10 you'll ever spend. Look at that clump of hair. That's a big one. That's what she said. To me. Hey! All right, hold on. There's also some hair at the bottom of this motor, and getting the clump of hair up by the propeller with a brushless motor is not that big of a deal, but getting a bunch of hair around the bottom is bad. You do want to pay attention to that. That can actually affect its performance. But getting the hair in between the prop and the motor belt isn't really that big of a deal unless there's so much of it that, like, aerodynamically it's slowing the damn motor down, which there might actually be enough that's happening here on this motor as well. I don't know where the hell these got so hairy. Might have been when I was flying them at Maggie's old rental house, because everything was emptied out, so I was like crashing into corners that had gotten really dirty and whatnot. All right, this is almost good to go. So this is the ultimate mega big dickin' tinywhoop here. This is the Mobula 6 ELRS with the tinywhoop.com 0702 30,000, you heard that right, kV motors. With these Gemfan biblades, this combination is absolutely astounding. I'm going to save this for last because you got to work up to it. It's a lot. It's a lot of power and not a lot of weight. Hard to fly. Nice. Ken Heron is going in on FPV. I love to see that, man. Flying at least 3 batteries a day. There you go, man. That's all you really need. You don't have to fly 100 batteries a day. You just have to fly damn near every day. That's the most important part. All right. First up, we're going to fly the 75mm rig with the T-Motor 0803 22,000 kV motors on these, man, my rigs are all very hairy, on these Gemfan biblades, big old 1.6-inch Gemfan biblades. This is an interesting rig. This rig actually kind of does work at the new house because it's so big. But here, this thing sucks. So what we're going to do first here is we're just going to take a nice leisurely tour around the apartment to say goodbye, to send it off the best way that we know how, which is through FPV. Is that coming in? There it is. All right, so let's take a little tour of studio number 1 in its final form. Take a look at some of the artwork on the walls. We'll, and I'm actually going to hook up the, Immersion RC Power Play, so I can get some good quality DVR flying around this place, just to kind of remember it. Lot of really good memories in this apartment. A lot of really rough ones too, if I'm honest. I think that moving out of this place is going to help me quite a bit mentally. Just let go of some of the past with my ex-wife and with Harry, the cat. But yeah, there's all. I mean, you know, this is where this live stream began, straight up. And the live stream has been a huge part of my life. So yeah, this was a great place for me. But I'm very, very excited to be moving on. My God, I'm a really lucky man to be moving into such a gorgeous house with such a beautiful group of people in it waiting for me, literally, right now.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Crashes immediately, 661 says. Yeah, well, you know. Would you expect anything less? Is this an ELRS rig or is this a FreeSky rig? This is a FreeSky rig. Alright, here we go. Let's get the Immersion RC Power Play recording. Or not. Do I have the wrong model? I have the wrong model. There we go. That's the right model. There it is. Alright, Power Play. You gonna record for me? If I push the right button, it will. Cool. Power Play's up. Let's fly, friends. Wow, the video looks so bad with this camera. So, here we are. Here is Studio One. Big old IKEA desk. Big old gridded roll-up LED panels there. Some acoustic foam. Over here, bunch of artwork. That's my Miata with my buddies Corrado. That's my Miata up with the New York skyline in the background. This is the interior of my Miata in Charleston. This is a little piece of artwork I got from Folly Beach in Charleston. There's an ice cream shop called Jenny's that's in the south. A little piece of artwork from them. And then this is a little smatterassing of Miata and Mustang stuff there from my autocross days. Some more acoustic foam here, some purple and black. There's the lava lamp. There's the really cool little CiottiFPV LED jib jab. And there's my little Rippies trophy from Rampage this year. Got a little Lego version. This is a little Lego version of Studio One with the Top Gear guys incorporated. But yeah, this is roughly Studio One here. Hey, what's up, Richard Hammond? Oh God! I punched Richard Hammond in the face. Oh shit. That was unexpected. Alright, moving on. There's Sock Boy. What was his name? Sock Boy? Or no, it's not Stock Boy. What is it? What's his little name from his PlayStation game? I forget. This is a piece of artwork from Blip Shift of an NB Miata, very similar to mine. This is the Miata build that I always wanted to do, but never really quite got it done. Those are my Audio-Technica broadcast headphones with really nice mic that I use for my sim racing streams on the PS4. I think this light went dead. Yeah, this light must have gone dead. Couple of Cinesplores there, and we've got a couple of glides. These are all the Freestyle glide builds. And then this over here, this is the very first 5-inch rig that I ever built and flew. That's the Flow Ride. It's Bob Brugge FPV Cycle's very first frame, before FPV Cycle was even a thing. It was just Bob. Another couple of blip shift pieces of artwork here, Breaking Bad. And then, of course, I'm a child of the 80s, so we gotta have some F40 love on the wall. These are my two Simpson Stig helmets, black Stig and white Stig. And then that's a 3D printed Rocinante there that a fan sent to me. I forget who sent it to me. Maybe they're in the chat and they can sound off. Here's the 9-hole IKEA cube. Oh wow, I just flew under the soldering iron. I've never done that before. Oh god, everything's falling over. Here's under the desk. Skinny legs, of course. Here's the 13-year-old's computer that somehow is still working. Mac Mini is kind of tucked away back behind this second monitor here on the left. And then this is the 8-hole IKEA cube thing. Here's my new tote bag. It says Kill All Carbon on it. You can get that over on my Teespring store, linked at CiottiFPV.com. This is one of my longboards here. This is a Chuck Barfoot design. Really fun board. That's Studio One, friends. One of my super mid-century mod, very cool little vinyl chairs. So then we got the rest of the apartment here. Really cool pineapple artwork here. I can't wait to see what this looks like in the new house. Little Ciotti Drive thing that my parents got for me. Really cool little LED lit up arrow. This is the blueprint to Frasier's apartment from the TV show, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. What else we got? Here's a little piece of artwork that my Aunt Eileen made for me way back when, that was hanging up in the wall of my room growing up as a kid, which kind of fits the mid-century mod vibe. This is a little CiottiFPV individual pieces of artwork, cool little thing, frame thing there. Couple of albums here framed, Dre's The Chronic and Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, two albums that I listened to a ton when I was in high school. Really cool lamp here, and I snagged when I was in Charleston for really cheap. Oh boy. A little no smoking sign up top there, a little vintage sign action. Really cool mirror here. Oh no, low battery already. And then a couple more pieces of artwork over here. What's this one? Oh, this is little red cows. Coming home, little friend. Don't die, don't die, don't die. Oh, it died. Flew that one down a little too low. All right, now we're gonna move on to a rig with a better camera. 75mm rig. You got the job done. Thank you for your battery sacrifice. Let's move on to a Weebleed FPV 300 mAh battery on the all newbie drone rig with the Caddx Ant. Doesn't fly all that well, so we'll continue the tour with this little rig. Poor little hamster got hit by a helicopter. All right, the tour shall continue. Let's get the Immersion RC Power Play recording again. All right, good to go. Okay, although I think this is an ELRS rig, so let's switch over here. Yeah, it is. All right, cool. Should come up in a second. There we go. All right, so now we're looking through a Caddx Ant. Here's my little sim rig. This is a Playseat Challenge wheel with a Thrustmaster T300 steering wheel base and pedals and wheel rim, and then the Thrustmaster H pattern shifter here. All in, this setup is $700. Best $700 you can spend in sim racing if you want to get started. Here is my U-turn turntable. It's a nice walnut wood finish on the bottom there, and then I've got the see-through clear acrylic platter and a I forget what the cartridge I have is. Nothing special, but really nice little setup here.
Bunch of my vinyl. Man, this is really dark. A couple of board games here: Carcassonne, Alhambra, Castle Panic, and Carcassonne the Castle, which is a 2-player version. This is my photography book collection, basically my photography library, and a little shot glass that looks like a Canon lens. I've got the gates set up, which we're going to play with in a little bit. Nothing really much going on here. This is a really nice dry erase board that I paid way too much money for, but it's got a really cool walnut surround. And just some of the shit that kind of keeps me on track. Every day I try to do things that are good for me. I do things that are for work. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, hi. And then I do things that are fun. So things that are good for me, things that are for work, and things that are for fun. Do a couple of those every day. These are just some of the notes that I'm leaving myself for like future video ideas and whatnot. Some stuff going on there. One of my favorite sayings right here: failure is the beginning of the road. Very important to fail, friends. What else we got in here? Here's my little sectional couch. You guys have seen a ton. Wow, this thing chews through batteries. The burrito tunnel is up and ready to go. Jesus. There's something, I don't know. There's either something going on with this AIO or, I don't know, this build is kind of heavy. That is not enough runtime, though. Alright, we're going to move on from that rig because that camera kind of sucks, admittedly. We're going to move over to the rig that we're going to spend the rest of the time flying with, which is the Mobula 6 ELRS with the 30,000 kV 0702 motors, and yeah. So we'll just kind of sort of finish the tour real quick here, and then we'll start ripping. Let me turn the lights on in the bedroom real quick. Okay, and I'm just going to put them on cool white so it's nice and bright in there. Actually, let me. That's why it's so dark in here, because everything is in live stream mode. All right, so now it'll be. I mean, this camera is a lot better, but also like we've got a shitload more light in this place now. So that's what I should have done from the start, but I forgot. All right, here we go. The ultimate freestyle tinywhoop coming at you.
Low battery.
All right, what else? Oh! I guess it's just the bedroom, really, from here on out. A little piece of another album here from May, an indie rock group that I absolutely fell in love with in like the early 2000s. This is a really cool frame too. Lets you pull the disc out a little bit. Really cool little piece of artwork I bought in Charleston of a really cool looking tree. I have these cool things that you put magnets on. You hang some little picture frames there. Another little IKEA 8-holer. That's what she said. Oh boy. This camera is much more zoomed in. It makes doing this an awful lot more difficult. There's also a bunch more up tilt on this. Another little cool piece of artwork from Folly Beach that's silk screened. This is Suro. That's actually a board game. Slick little board game. That's about it. A little piece of May artwork here. A little hanging guy. Another little hangy ball guy. And I think that is about it, friends. And what that means is, oh boy, it's go time. Whoa! All right, here we go. Let's get it going. Enough of this cinematic flying nonsense. I do enough of that for work at gigs. Oh God, that was the wall. Woo! Hello. Let's get into this burrito tunnel. Come on. Come on. Ah! Let's get in the burrito tunnel. There it is. Oh, God. Where am I? Oh, that's a walk of shame, isn't it? Nope, 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 nope. Never give up. Ah, I thought I could make it. Oh, the burrito tunnel got me. But the burrito tunnel is nice for taking off from. Oh, God, I am not flying all that well here tonight. Okay. Real struggle happening. Here we go. All right, come on. We can do this. Oh. Oh! Crash prevention really saved my ass on that one. Oh, okay, where am I? What's happening?
9.
Come on, get it together.
8.
Ah! I tried to pop out the top of that with a nice landing on the burrito tunnel.
6. 5. 4.
Get it! Oh!
3. 2.
Ah! Man, I am having a hard time tonight. Ooh, burrito tunnel. Narrow ass hallway getting me. Ah, why? Oh, inverted through that one. Ah, almost, almost. Let's run some laps. Let's just run some laps. Lap it. Oh! Run some laps the other way. Ah! Man, I am not good at shooting gates. Shooting gates is kind of my Achilles heel. Oh, I wasn't recording any of that. What a jackass. Okay, this battery's going to be better. Warmed up. Time to shred. That's where the magic happens, Denzel. Okay, flat part of the battery there. We're going to go to a tattoo. No. Let's fly all the wee bleeds, and then we'll go over to the tattoo batteries, because the tattoo batteries have a lot less cycles on them, so they, yeah, they fly better. Alright, here we go. Ooh, I got a little situation with the BT 2.0 plug on this thing. It appears to be breaking. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. The where the wire meets the connector is starting to fray like crazy. Oh, damn. Okay, so this rig needs a new BT 2.0 connector for sure. I kind of thought that it didn't feel all that powerful. And yeah, I was right. Okay. Good to know. But we shall persevere. Let's get it. Still got plenty of power. Oh boy, still got plenty of power. All right. Oh God, that was uncommanded. Oh no. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go! Let me go! Gotta take the walk. Ooh! I'm not recording again. This is good. Everything happens for a reason, friends. Look, a GoPro Hero8. It's not broken enough.
Maybe it's more broken now. Maybe it's broken enough for Best Buy now. All right, here we go.
Armed. Is it recording power play? Yeah, you are. Yeah. Oh. God damn. That float that you can get from this rig is just intoxicating. Yeah. There it is. Now we're getting in. Ah! Oh! I know what it is. I know what it is. I need some jams. We need some music. Music will fix all. All bad flying is fixed by good music. Come on, 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 come on. There we go. Oh yeah. Come on now. I'm gonna kill the mic and just give you guys all the music. Maybe not. Hold on. Desktop audio. There we go. All right, what do you guys like better, music or mic? Because I got 2 more batteries to fly.
Telemetry lost.
When the song dropped down, I was like, all right, let me fly with the music. But now we're gonna rail. Now we're gonna push. Music or no music? Oh God, I gotta stop the power play. There we go. All right, power play is stopped. Music? All right, cool. Good. I prefer that too. Here it comes again. I guess not last battery. That was it. That was it. Oh, man. These tinywhoop batteries, man, they just be shit in the bed sometimes. Oh, man, I thought we had one more. Well, that's okay. I'm flying pretty shitty tonight. But we got that one big cube-to-cube throw, and I'm happy with that. That was fun. That was very fun. Let's get this refocused. Damn! Yeah, that's a shame. That's the deal with them tinywhoop batteries, even the good ones. They just don't survive all that long. Whew! Boy, that was a little session, wasn't it? I wish it'd been flying a little bit better, but my God, it is so hard to fly in here. Jesus Christ. We're gonna wrap it up there, my friends. That was a good little session. Big thing I wanted to do was a little tour in here. Once this place is emptied out a little bit more, it'll be easier to fly in. We can do some really nasty stuff. Although I gotta be honest, man, flying in this fucking house, ooh, flying in this house is the real deal. You guys ain't seen nothing yet. There's space. There's like some really interesting little. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see. Stay tuned, yo. Stay tuned, friends. Get yourselves subscribed. Click some thumbs. Click some bells. Do whatever you want. I'll be back on Friday night. So there's no bot grinder stream Friday night, so I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do 8 to 10 Friday night instead of 7 to 9, and that'll be from Studio 54 or whatever the hell we're gonna call the house studio. Little kind of like temporary laptop setup. We'll probably do some more. Whooping. Hopefully I can get this BT 2.0 fixed. Man, that's wild. Yeah. It's been real. It's been fun. I don't know if it's been real fun. That's a lie. It's been real fucking fun. Studio One was good to us all. We will remember it fondly. There are hundreds of live streams from here, so it'll be easy to remember it. Thanks for hanging out, friends. Thanks for Studio 710. Thanks for everything. Everything that everything that I am here on YouTube is has gone down in this spot, and with you beautiful bastards. So yeah, I know I say it a lot, but it deserves to be said a lot. Thank you guys for following along, for telling your friends, for posting the streams all over the place, for supporting me financially, spiritually, mentally. It's been a hell of a ride, and I'm very lucky to have gotten to do it with all you guys. So stay tuned for more. It's only going to get better from here. But yeah, this place is going to look a little bit less fancy in the next few weeks here. But yeah, the new setup is going to be even cooler. So stay tuned. Be as gracious as you can with me. I'm going to be canceling streams. There's going to be shit that just gets in the way over the next few weeks. But come August, I will be fully moved in, and we'll be back to moving and grooving. Love you guys. Be good. I'll see you Friday, hopefully. I can't guarantee it, but hopefully I'll see you Friday at 8, as long as I can get Ethernet dropped down and get power to the other side of the room. And then Sunday as well, I'm going to come back here, I think, for Sunday or Monday. Monday night stream is a giveaway stream, and it will be from here. So absolute worst case scenario, I'll see you guys Monday, but the plan is to stream Friday at 8 and Sunday at 3 from the new house. So
Love you guys. Be good. And remember.
諦めんなよ諦めんなお前どうしてそこでやめるんだそこでもう少し頑張ってみろよダメやめ諦めたら周りのこと思うよ応援してる人たちのこと思ってみろってあともうちょっとのところなんだから俺だってこのマイナス10度のところしじみが取れるって頑張ってんだよ絶対やってみろ必ず目標達成できるだからこそ家がビバ
4 hours all to myself here in Atlanta. Kristen is at the Korean Day Spa. Let's hit as many epic spots as we can. What do you say? You'll probably recognize this one. Let's do it. Oh, shit!